Dark skies, the distant roar of engines, and a young pilot sitting in the cockpit of his fighter, realizing that one single mistake could mean the end of his home, his family, his entire nation. Imagine this, only a few hundred men in the air, holding the fate of a whole country on their shoulders. If they fail, Britain falls. This is the story of a battle that changed the course of World War II, a battle where the sky became the front line, and every aircraft was the last line of defense. This is the Battle of Britain, a moment when air power saved a nation. But to understand how the world reached this point, we need to go back to the origins of air combat in the Second World War, back to the desperate early days, when the Soviet Air Force was fighting for survival, and back to the journey from the fragile MiG-3 to the powerful and iconic MiG-29. The desperate beginning, 1941. On June 22, 1941, the Soviet Union woke up to disaster. Operation Barbarossa, the largest invasion in human history, had begun. The Soviet Air Force was almost wiped out in a single day. Over 2,200 aircraft were destroyed, many on the ground. Within a week, thousands more were lost. Why was the defeat so catastrophic? Because Stalin's purges had gutted the officer corps. Because Soviet aircraft were obsolete. Because warnings were ignored. And because the Luftwaffe had already mastered modern air warfare. Amidst this chaos, one fighter marked the beginning of a legacy. The MiG-3. The MiG-3, first steps of a legend. Fast, sleek, and deadly at high altitude, the MiG-3 was designed to intercept bombers far above the battlefield. But most air combat on the Eastern Front happened low. Too low for the MiG-3 to shine. Its guns were light. Its handling was demanding. And yet, in skilled hands, it could be a formidable machine. It wasn't perfect. But it was the spark that ignited the MiG dynasty. Survival and recovery. 1942-1943. Something extraordinary happened next. As German troops advanced, the Soviets did the impossible. They moved entire factories eastward, beyond enemy reach. Machine by machine. Worker by worker. Family by family. In the snow. In the cold. Under bombs. And within months, production restarted. By 1943, the Soviet Union was outproducing Germany. New aircraft arrived. The Yak fighters. The Law series, and the legendary Il-2 Sturmovik, the flying tank. Soviet pilots grew skilled. Tactics improved. Aces emerged. The Soviet Air Force was no longer dying. It was learning. It was adapting. It was coming back. The jet age, and a British gift. After the war, a new era began. The jet engine changed everything. The Soviets captured German research. But the breakthrough came from an unexpected place. Britain. In 1946, Britain sold the Soviets the Rolls-Royce Nenni engine, one of the best in the world. Soviet engineers copied it, improved it, and powered one of the most important fighters ever built, the MiG-15. When it appeared in the skies over Korea, the West was stunned. The MiG-15 could outclimb and outturn nearly every Western jet. Air combat would never be the same. The Cold War evolution. The MiG-17, the supersonic MiG-19, and then a legend. The MiG-21, one of the most produced fighters in history, a missile with wings. Fast, simple, deadly. It fought in Vietnam, the Middle East, Africa, India, everywhere. The Soviets had become masters of one thing, building rugged, reliable fighters that could be produced by the thousands. But they wanted more. The specialized machines. MiG-23 and MiG-25. The MiG-23 introduced swing wings and long-range radar. It was powerful but complex. The MiG-25, however, that was something else. A monster built of steel. A machine designed to chase the SR-71 and anything else that dared to fly high and fast. It could reach Mach 2.8, even Mach 3 at the cost of melting its own engines. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't nimble. But it was terrifying in its role. The Fulcrum. MiG-29. And then, in 1983, the Soviet Union unveiled the MiG-29, a fourth-generation fighter designed to challenge the F-15 and F-16. It had power, precision, agility, a helmet-mounted sight years ahead of the West. It could take off from rough fields, climb vertically, and dominate in close combat. Its range was limited. Its avionics lagged behind Western designs. But in a dogfight, the MiG-29 was a predator. Even NATO pilots admitted this aircraft was no joke. Legacy. The journey from the MiG-3 to the MiG-29 is one of the most dramatic transformations in aviation history. A story of collapse and rebirth, of desperation and innovation, of engineers and pilots who built an air force that could stand toe-to-toe with the most powerful nations on Earth. Today, the MiG legacy continues. Upgraded MiG-29s still fly. The MiG-35 carries its DNA. And the lessons of Soviet aviation are still studied by air forces across the world.